Guys, welcome to Black Scout Survival Late Night Live. So we had a second attempt on Donald Trump. The perpetrator is a guy named Ryan Wesley Ruth or Ralph. He has been identified as the would-be assassin. A witness saw him flee in his vehicle after Secret Service agents fired 4 shots at Ryan. Now, they saw a silhouette of a rifle barrel sticking through the fence of the Trump International Golf Course in West Palm Beach. Okay. And he was within 200 to 400 meters from Donald Trump. Now, excuse me, apparently Donald Trump was just 2 holes away where the shooter had his sniper's nest. Now, if we look at his sniper's nest here, we see a GoPro, a makeshift plate carrier, and then what we believe is the SKS. It's kind of blurry, but I think it's SKS. Initial report said it was AK-47. But the Trump campaign, the mysterious thing about this is that the Trump campaign did not announce that Donald Trump was going to be at the golf course that day. So how did the shooter know about this is a big question. And he was reportedly arrested 50 miles away from the golf course after being pulled over by a sheriff's deputy. And I've got a footage here. You can see it here. Now, how did the shooter get away from the feds on the golf course? That's a big question. And he was arrested on I-95. Why were they unable to capture him is a big question for me. Mind-boggling. The former president, who already had an attempt on his life, has another attempt, and you know, we're not beefing up this security. But I'm glad, honestly, that the feds didn't get him, because he probably would have been eliminated and there would be no information. We've already got more information about this guy than to date we have of Thomas Crooks. Here's a video after the arrest.
Suspect's demeanor I would describe as having a relatively calm, flat, affected. Was not displaying a lot of emotion. Never asked what is this about. Obviously, law enforcement with long rifles, blue lights, a lot going on. Never questioned it.
Was he armed at the time, or he or she?
He was not armed when we took him out of the car. Of course, we didn't do a search, and I would suspect that they're getting a search warrant now. The FBI will take that car. We will transport it for them back to Palm Beach County.
Yeah, if they had not got him, I'm sure he would not be able to speak right now. Here's a picture of him holding up his shirt, showing that he doesn't have any firearms, I'm assuming. And he was very active on social media. Here's a picture of his Facebook page. Says study at UNC Greensboro, went to Grimsley High School, lives in Hawaii, he said. Now, he's made a lot of past posts on social media. Let's just kind of go through some of them. He says, I feel lucky. This is his ex account. I feel lucky to be born in America with freedom and opportunity, and hope that I'd not waste such a valuable thing to do more and take less. Here you see him. He's a very pro-Ukraine, okay, and Taiwan. He's more about defending other countries than America. He says, I have thousands of Afghan soldiers that wish to serve for the Haiti National Police at cheap wages, 1,000 with passports ready to fly. I want to give Taiwan thousands of NATO-trained Afghan soldiers, and I would like them to start a, project to bring in global volunteers to protect the shores of Taiwan. Please help me make this happen. So he's been trying to recruit people for different countries, which is very odd. And we're going to get into some of that, why that's odd. Now, he posted this about Donald Trump back in June 11th, 2020. Real Donald Trump, well, you were my choice in 2106. I'm assuming it means 2016. I in the world hope that President Trump would be different and better than the candidate, but we are greatly disappointed. And it seems you are getting worse and evolving. I will be glad that when you're gone. Are you retarded? I don't think you can say that word anymore. Here he has post on X. It says, Kamala Harris, you and Biden should visit the injured people in the hospital for the Trump rally and attend the funeral of the slain firemen. Trump will never do anything for them. Show the world the compassion and humanity is all about. Joe Biden, you should visit the victims of the hospital, the Trump rally victims, and attend the funeral of the firemen. Trump certainly never would. Show the world what real leaders do. Trump actually did, but in D.C. and Kiev to provide soldiers for the war effort. I mean, just POTUS, your campaign should be called something like Gaddafi, keep America's democratic and free. Trump should be Massa, make American slaves again, master. Democracy is on the ballot and we cannot lose. We can't afford to fail. The world is counting on us to show the way. This was April 22nd, 2024. Now, he has made tons of donations to Act Blue. I mean, we have $1.90 here, $3 there, $19 here, $10 here. $25 was his biggest, largest sum of money he donated, but he was very active in donating, which was funny because he said that he was pro Donald Trump, but he's been giving to ActBlue since 2019. So he is also Taiwanese media reported that Ralph in June 2022, when he was in Kiev with Taiwanese flags. So, he has been all over the globe, very, very much so like a CIA professional would. But in the article from the Taiwanese media, it says Ralph, 56, originally hails from Hawaii, but most recently worked in construction industry in North Carolina and has no military background. He came to Kiev more than 2 months ago to show his support for Ukraine and wanted to join the Foreign Legion. However, due to his age, he was unable to do so, and he insisted, currently assisting in the Legion and recruiting volunteers for Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie units in Kharkiv. Thus far, Ralph has assisted in recruiting 70 volunteers to join the fight against Russia. Now, I have a video from 2022 where he is in Ukraine, apparently, and he's discussing what his mission is.
From North Carolina originally, so live in Hawaii now, so flew all the way from Hawaii here. So the question as far as why I'm here, to me, a lot of the other conflicts are gray, but this conflict is definitely black and white. This is about good versus evil. This is a storybook, any movie we've ever watched, this is definitely evil against good. I mean, we're battling a situation here where, the Ukrainians and the rest of the world are caring and kind and generous and unselfish and take care of one another. And it's just a matter of, we need to stand up for that. That is the most important thing in the world, is just to show human beings that we're kind and we're caring and that we take care of one another and that the world is united so that we feed each other and make sure that, we all move forward as one collective whole unit. So, we feel the pain of one country's failure and their conflicts, and we enjoy the successes of other countries that are doing good, and we all work together. And for some reason, Russia does not grasp this concept that we're all one unit, and we have to get along and work together and be normal human beings. This is 2022. We have to work together. It seems asinine that we have a leader in a country that does not understand the concept of being unselfish and being generous and being kind and just the basic moral values that are required by human beings these days. It blows my mind.
And what are you doing here in Ukraine?
My initial goal was to come and fight. I think, everybody around the globe should be motivated to come here and support the Ukrainians and to support the army, no matter what gender, age, anything. Everybody should be here supporting the army. But I'm 56, so initially they were like, well, I have no military experience, so they're like, you're not an ideal candidate. So they said, not right this minute. So plan B was to come here to Kyiv and promote getting more people here. You know, we need thousands and thousands and thousands of people here fighting with the Ukrainians. We need, you know, we've got 190 countries around the world, and we need thousands from all of them. If the governments will not send their official military, then we civilians have to pick up the torch and make this thing happen. And we've gotten some wonderful people here, but it's a small fraction of the number that should be here. If we have 5,000, you know, to 10,000 people here fighting, you know, that is just a minuscule amount of the 5 billion people on the globe. You know, we need everyone here fighting. That's why I'm in Kyiv. So every project that I promote is about getting people here to support the Ukrainians. We were at a critical.
He was also talking about like getting people to sell all their earthly possessions and go there to fight. Why would you abandon your own country is beyond me. But the thing is why I brought up CIA is because this is something that the CIA could potentially do, because CIA is not supposed to operate within the United States. However, they can operate outside the U.S. and work their way back in through individuals. Now, this guy is very reminiscent of Lee Harvey Oswald. If you know anything about Lee Harvey Oswald, about the type of how he was traveling outside the country, meeting with various people, this is a very, very similar thing. Now, we know that Thomas Crook's very little information. He can't speak. This one, a little more Lee Harvey Oswaldish, and Lee Harvey Oswald was successful. It really makes you question things. The other oddity is back in May 2024, he posted this on his Facebook page, which appears to be from the Ukrainian MOD or Ministry of Defense. And it was translated by ChatGPT. And if you look at it, it talks about military unit, and he would be under contract as position of shooter, Storm Battalion military unit, blah, 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 military rank according to staff, soldier, salary, request assistance, documents, and directing from further military service under contract, military unit A7788. So he essentially turned mercenary, and if he was bragging in a New York Times article right here about that he was recruiting fighters from Ukraine to fight for Ukraine from Afghan soldiers who fled the Taliban. He revealed that he was going to purchase passports from Pakistan in order to facilitate the plot. Ruth spent several months in Ukraine last year. He plans to move them in some cases illegally from Pakistan, Iran to Ukraine. He said that a lot of people, dozens or so, had interest in the plan, and we can purchase passports through Pakistan since it's such a corrupt country. And if you look at the top of this article here, it says that Ralph said that he was a U.S. Marine, so he could join the Legion. Now, obviously, he also committed stolen valor and by lying and saying that he was a U.S. Marine. But the thing here where he says we can probably purchase some passports through Pakistan since it's a corrupt country. Very, very odd from a guy in North Carolina. I don't know that he's ever even lived in Hawaii. Maybe that's just something he says because he was working in North Carolina. He's from North Carolina. And who knows? Maybe that's where the safe house was. But I think that there's a lot of oddities already with this guy. That is Lee Harvey Oswaldish. You know, he's obviously someone that dealt with some mental instability issues. So does a lot of other folks like Lee Harvey Oswald and such. But he had this arrest here. Man with gun barricades himself inside business. Ryan Routh, 36, this was 2002, was arrested without incident at 1 a.m. at United Roofing. If we pull up the article here. An armed man was arrested Monday morning after barricading himself in a business during a 3-hour standoff. Ryan Ruth was arrested without incident at 1 a.m. Monday at United Roofing. During a traffic stop, he was pulled over at 10 p.m., but he put his hands on a firearm and drove to United Roofing, where he remained barricading inside. Ruth was charged with carrying a concealed firearm and possession of weapons of mass destruction, referring to a fully automatic machine gun. He had also charged with resisting, delaying, and obstructing a law enforcement officer and driving while license revoked. Now, why that I'm bringing that up and why this is odd is because his son has chimed in. His son says that would-be assassin says his dad hates Trump like all reasonable people do, but he's never owned a gun and wouldn't do anything batshit crazy. I would say what he did in 2002 would have. So his son goes on to say that Ralph Sr. on his floor he says that his dad hates Trump like every reasonable person does. He claimed he's not a violent person. He told Daily Mail that his father, Ryan Ralph, who was arrested, he says, I don't like Trump either, the son says. He insisted his dad is not violent and was shocked to hear about his allegations. He's my dad, and all he's ever had is a couple traffic tickets, as far as I know. I know my dad and love my dad, but that's nothing like him. So his son probably would have been, what, if he's a boy at that time, he would have known that this happened. So he lied. His son lied about this, right? Having an armed standoff in a business for 3 hours with a machine gun. It's more than a traffic violation. Now, it was because of a traffic stop, and maybe that's why Ryan is saying this, but it's weird. Weird is someone go on the news and tell absolute lie. But we've got now 2 impeachment, 4 indictments, 34 convictions, 91 charges, and 2 assassination attempts against Trump. Do you think these folks are going to let off? Or do you think they're going to stop? They're not. They're going to continue doing this, right? We have 50 days left. It's going to get worse before it gets worse. I've been saying that. I said there would be another attempt. I've said this multiple times. I said there was going to be an attempt a year ago. And people said I was crazy. It's impossible. Well, whenever the gaps in the Secret Service where they're passively allowing this to happen, who knows who this guy has talked to overseas. He's been very involved in various different countries. The Ukraine, who called Trump an enemy of Ukraine, if you recall that. You guys recall that? Zelensky said Trump was the enemy of Ukraine. And so you got to love the media. They're already trying to blame it on Donald Trump. Check it out.
For this, the whole thing has yet to be 100% confirmed from start to finish how this all played out. But do you expect to hear anything from the Trump campaign about toning down the rhetoric, toning down the violence, or would that be atypical of the former president?
Well, Alex, remember back to the assassination attempt on President Trump's life and how, there was talk of a new tone, and then the Republican convention was, by Trumpian standards, muted. And it did seem like he was, just trying to take it down a few notches. But then by the end of his convention speech, we were kind of back to where we started. So I don't know how long this could, this moment of unity for the country where we come together and we say, I don't want any political opposition to be under threat of violence. It's not okay, any threat of violence, we don't want. I would love for us to have a unity type moment, but I think it's probably going to be pretty fleeting, as we've seen in the past.
So they're blaming Trump, saying his rhetoric. It's been the left's rhetoric. This is mind-boggling. It's been the left's rhetoric. And who keeps doing this stuff? It's not conservatives. It's not conservatives. That's how they even can position that way is incredible. But it's 1984 George Orwell. They'll say lies. Yuri Besimov said it. They'll say lies. People will believe it. Oh, it's the right-wing nut jobs. It's them. It's them. And here we are, second attempt. And I'm sure they're going to continue trying. I just believe it, right? And I think that it's a very scary 50 days. Guys, I appreciate your super chats. Thank you. Anyway, guys, please share the video because obviously they're trying to shadow ban us. Actually, something weird, even on X the other day, I couldn't even get anybody's replies from X. I guess I said something wrong on there, which I kind of got a little crazy on there the other day. And then YouTube blocked up the other video last week, my last video, for like 3 days to suppress it. I figured they would because of what I talked about. I knew they were trying to shut that story down. But they're making every attempt, and it's only going to get worse coming into election. So, guys, please share the video, text it to 5 of your friends, give me a like and all that sort of good stuff. We're going to stay frosty, stay strapped, and always stay dangerous. Take care.